Hi students, how are you? I hope each one among you are doing great and well. Welcome to Supnit's classes. This is Rahmat Latif, your biology educator. In this video, we are going to have one more session on digestion and absorption. So without wasting any time, let's get started. In my previous session, I already mentioned that we have bile juice. Please remember, bile juice is formed by liver. Similarly, pancreatic juice is formed by pancreas, and intestinal juice, or we can say succus entericus, is formed by which intestine? Small intestine. Please remember these juices. Bile juice is formed by liver. Pancreatic juice is obviously, as name says, is formed by pancreas. Intestinal juice, another name of intestinal juice is succus entericus, and it is formed by which intestine? Small intestine. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. Now, in pancreatic juice, we had some enzymes, right? Like we had trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, carboxypeptidase, lipases, nucleases, so on and so forth. And yeah, in our previous session, I already mentioned that you have to remember one point which is really very important, that I'll write down the reaction here, okay? Because that came into as PYQ, okay? In, I guess, 2020 or 2021. Okay, so you have to remember that reaction is like this. Trypsinogen is an inactive enzyme which is found in pancreatic juice. Trypsinogen is an inactive enzyme. It is activated by enterokinase, and thus it gets converted into trypsin, and trypsin activates other enzymes as well. Okay, I hope this reaction is crystal clear. You really need to memorize this reaction, as it's very, very, very important. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. Similarly, likewise, we have so many enzymes found in pancreatic juice. Similarly, in intestinal juice, or we can say another name of intestinal juice is succus entericus. In succus entericus, you know end products of various substances, like of proteins, like of fats, like of so many products, they act on those products, and thus they convert them into absorbable forms. Okay, then the we can say these final steps of digestion, which is actually absorption, it since it has to absorb, say for example this is intestine. Okay, it has to absorb the things. The distance won't be this much. The distance won't be this much It really need to be very close, so that the absorption will take place. That's why these final steps in digestion, they took place near, very close to the mucosal epithelial cells of intestine, since mucus is the innermost layer of the intestine, or not only intestine, of all the parts, like of all the alimentary canal, all the parts of alimentary canal, it takes there. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. Let me erase it. Please remember this reaction, as it's very, very, very important. Okay, okay, moving forward, look at these reactions. Dipeptides, this is the reactant, sorry, not reactant, this is the actual product. It dipeptidases acts on it and it gives amino acids. Similarly, maltose, maltase acts on maltose, it gives glucose plus glucose. Similarly, lactase acts on lactose, it gives glucose plus galactose. Sucrase acts on sucrose, it gives glucose plus fructose. Similarly, nucleotidases acts on nucleotides, which gives nucleosides. And finally, nucleosidases acts on nucleosides, which gives sugars plus bases. Similarly, di and monoglycerides, which are actually fats, they are acted upon by lipases, thus giving fatty acids plus glycerol. Okay, I am repeating. First of all, you have to remember of, we in our previous session, final product of protein was dipeptidase, right? Dipeptides. Now, dipeptides, dipeptidases, enzyme, usually enzymes have ase at the, as suffix. Dipeptidases acts on dipeptides, thus giving what? Amino acids, building blocks of proteins. That means smallest substance, smallest particle of protein. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. Similarly, we have maltose. Similarly, we have maltose. Maltase acts on maltose, thus giving 2 glucose. Glucose plus glucose. You, as I already mentioned in my previous session, that you have to remember these reactions. Similarly, we have lactose. Okay, we have lactose, and which enzyme acts on lactose? It's lactase. Likewise, in maltose, lactase acts on lactose and it gives glucose plus galactose. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. Moving forward, then we have sucrose. Which enzyme will act on sucrose? It's sucrase, and it will give glucose plus fructose. You have to remember, you have to practice these, what we call it as reactions, so that you will remember them. Okay, that will help you in memorizing these reactions. Okay, moving forward. Similarly, these are the reactions. Nucleotidases acts on nucleotides bases, it gives nucleosides. Then nucleosidases acts on nucleosides, give sugars plus bases. Then di and monoglycerides are acted upon by lipases, thus giving fatty acids and glycerol. I hope this concept is clear. Now, this breakdown, since they are biomacromolecules, the digestion, simple definition of digestion is breakdown of complex or biomacromolecules into simple substances, biomicromolecules, and simple and absorbable form. Now, in the above reactions, we saw that breakdown of macromolecules are taking place, and this is taking place in small intestine. But in which part of small intestine? First part of small intestine, that is duodenum region. First part, duodenum region of small intestine. Thus, the simple substances that are formed are then absorbed in the jejunum and ileum region of the small intestine, and the substances which are not digested or absorbed, they are simply passed on to the large intestine. Okay, I'll write it here. Breakdown of biomacromolecule takes place in which region? First region of small intestine, that is duodenum region. Duodenum region. And absorption of these substances took place where? It took place in jejunum and ileum region of small intestine. Jejunum and ileum region of small intestine. Okay, I hope you really need to understand this. And what happens with the undigested and unabsorbed material? That is passed down to the large intestine. Okay, let me erase it. Okay. And what is the function of large intestine? No such digestive activity occurs in large intestine. It just absorbs some water, minerals, and certain drugs. In large intestine, no such digestion, no such digestive activity took place. Then what happens in large intestine? Absorption of water, minerals, and drugs took place. Okay. Similarly, in large intestine secretes a kind of mucus which helps in adhering the waste undigested particles together, so that during defecation lubrication will become, lubricate substances will lubricate there, thus for an easy passage. Okay, so that defecation will take place without any hindrance. Two main functions took place in large intestine. First of all, you have to remember no digestion took place in large intestine. Then what happens in large intestine? Simply absorption of water, minerals, and drugs took place. And another point is that it secretes some kind of mucus which helps in adhering the products adhering the products, undigested particles, so that during defecation no hindrance will take place. Okay, and defecation will take place easily. Okay, undigested and unabsorbed substances. The undigested and unabsorbed substances are nothing but feces. Feces. Undigested and unabsorbed substances are known as feces. Okay, and obviously it took place in large intestine, so it enters the first part of large intestine. No, sorry, not first part. It enters into the cecum. It enters into the cecum of the large intestine. Yes, it enters into the cecum, and in cecum we have a valve known as cecal valve. Likewise, in between esophagus and stomach we have gastroesophageal sphincter. In Here in cecum we have cecal valve, so that backflow will not take place. Backflow of fecal matter will not take place, and these feces are temporarily stored into the rectum region of large intestine. Please remember, feces are stored into the rectum temporarily, not permanently. For some time, they are stored into the rectum till a person defaces this fecal matter. Okay, and we know that our gastrointestinal tract, that is gut, are under neural and hormonal control. Since we see that in hormones chapter, you will see that several hormones are released. Okay, and we have neural signals as well going to the brain from the gut, so on and so forth. right? I hope this concept is clear. Like what happens, for example, we see some food, the sight of the food, the smell of the food induces, water in our mouth, that makes our mouth watery. How? Because it's all, the all the systems are interconnected. CNS, central nervous system, through central nervous system. Okay, I hope this concept is clear, right? In this video, we just saw that how biomacromolecules are converted into biomicromolecules, how larger molecules are converted into smaller molecules. Then we saw some reactions like maltase converts maltose into glucose plus glucose, dipeptidases converts dipeptides into amino acids, lactase converts lactose into glucose plus galactose, sucrase converts sucrose into glucose plus fructose. Similarly, nucleotidases converts nucleotides into nucleosides, then nucleosidases acts on nucleosides, converting it into sugar and bases. Then we saw that lipases acts on di and monoglycerides, giving us fatty acids plus glycerol. Then we saw that this breakdown of biomicromolecules obviously will take place in small intestine, but in which part of small intestine? First part of small intestine, that is duodenum. Then it's absorbed into the jejunum and ileum region of small intestine, and the undigested or unabsorbed substances are passed on to the large intestine, or and what happens into the large intestine? Absorption of water, minerals took place in large intestine, and on side by side mucus is secreted, which helps in adhering the waste undigested particles, and thus it helps in lubrication during defecation. Then we saw that undigested or unabsorbed substances, which are known as feces, are, enters into the cecum region of the large intestine, where it is then it is stored into the rectum region. And in cecum we have cecal valve, which prevents backflow of the fecal matter. Okay, and we saw that our digestive system is under control of hormones, under control of CNS, so on and so forth. We saw that once we see or smell these food particles, our mouth starts watering. How is it possible? Because our all of our systems are connected to central nervous system, which induces signaling to the brain, and brain acts on it accordingly. Okay, I hope this concept about digestion and absorption is clear, right? I hope this digestion and absorption is clear. I'll meet you in any other interesting session. Till then, goodbye. Take care. Thank you. Thank you so much.